Good afternoon, race fans. I'm Dobbs Davis with Seahorse Magazine, giving our fifth and final race analysis for this year's second edition of the AEGEAN 600. As with all our shows, we're opening up with a YB tracker map, and you can see the race course out here outlined in red. And another thing you can see is very few boats on the race course. We're just past 5 days of racing since the start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. We are here at 4:30 in the afternoon on Friday. This has been an exceptionally fast race, 2 course records set for multi-hulls and monohulls. And everybody is in the Olympic Marina here except for these remaining competitors on the race course. I'll zoom into them. Yesterday we saw a bottleneck about this time at Mykonos. And it turns out that the couple of boats that were there were actually probably somewhere else. This YB tracking system is exceptional for a lot of things, but it's not perfect. And what we've learned in this race and other races that have used this system, occasionally there are glitches in the system that misreport the positions of the boats. But we think it's all operating properly now, and as you can see, these guys are on their penultimate leg into the finish line. Leading the group, actually, I'll first tell the story about this boat here, Quick Decision. They're actually not racing. They dropped out yesterday over on the far eastern side of the race course. They said they got tired of falling into every hole in this race, which all you've been hearing about for those who have been tuning in is how fast this race has been due to the 20 to 30 knot at times Meltemi. But this Meltemi is not uniform across the entire course. Every time boats go around islands, there's local effects that keep the Meltemi from being this sort of uniform force across the race. There's lots of local effects, whether they're wind holes or big shifts. So it's turbulent flow at best around these islands, and these guys, I think, just got tired of all the gear shifting. They are in a catamaran, so they're not the best for being maneuverable when the conditions are very variable, as we've seen. So Quick Decision is not on the race course, or at least not entered. They've retired. So ignoring that then, let's look at Four Seasons 4. This is an Australian team that brought their Holland 68 to the race, and at 68 feet you'd think, wow, they should be really much further along, but I'll explain. This is a very old design. I want to say the 70s or maybe 80s. It's an old Iowa boat. And these guys have been nursing it around the course. In fact, nursing is the right word to use, because I think I can do this by going back in time. We'll see that they were there. Now, why were they there? In fact, I think they were parked. They were trying to do some repairs to the boat, and they anchored for a while. And you say, well, what is that all about? Why didn't they just retire? And I actually applaud them, because by anchoring and affecting their own repairs, they're in the spirit of seamanship that is this race and all races, really. You're expected to be self-reliant and to have the requisite skills at seamanship to keep the boat going, keep people safe. I don't know exactly what happened on there. We'll find out later, tonight or tomorrow, when we get to talk to them. But they opted to stop and to effect the repairs they needed, and then simply when they were done, they carried on. So they went back to the racetrack, probably tacked. They went out to port tack, tacked back to starboard to a position where they can clear this island, and according to the tracker, are now making 5.4 knots. Again, a boat that large should be going faster than that, so it could be that they're under reduced sail for whatever the issue is on board. So they now have the tail end Charlie Award of being the last boat around the race course. And ahead of them is a boat a fraction of the size of Four Seasons. This is a 6.5 meter mini transat boat called Callisti. they're seen plugging along now, 2.3 knots. You say, whoa, that's not very fast. Remember, this is big wind and big seas. For wind, I can show you what it's like out there in the track now. So their position would be somewhere out here, which is shown as green, and you say, oh, well, that's less than 20 knots. Yeah, maybe, but there's still a lot of brown out here. And from what we've experienced in our position over in here, close to Olympic Marine, the wind is quite gusty. I mean, you can have gusts over to 30 knots easily. We've had reports of boats encountering wind well over 40 knots at times. So this is quite a blustery breeze. And when you're on a boat that small, the waves associated with that breeze have got to be tremendous. And so it's truly an athletic event for boats that size. I will switch over to show you what this boat looks like. This is a photograph taken from the media team here of Callisti going through the caldera at Santorini. So that gives you an idea of the size and scale of this entry. They are in the double-handed division, which is great, and we certainly applaud them for their perseverance on this very tough course, and they're sticking it out. They are the remaining. If we go to here, this is the current race results for that class. The Numa is a JPK 10.3 sailed by a couple of Polish sailors who we talked with this morning, and they're quite excited to be here. They did a great job. They were initially behind this boat, Ether, through the first half of the race. Now, Ether encountered some problems on the east side of the course, had to drop out. I believe they're still moored over behind an island on that side of the course. I don't know what their plans are, whether they're trying to get back here with the boat, whether they'll come here and we see them tomorrow and come back and get their boat. But in any case, they were leaders. They encountered some problems, had to drop out. But Callisti is still out there, still pending. Now, the question is, all right, if they're still out there, do they still have a chance of beating the Polish team? You know, how does that work with corrected time and the rating game? So I thought I would drag over to here, just a little tutorial on how this works. In the ORC system, it's pretty nice because not only are their certificates all uploaded and available for view, but you can also run test certificates. You can evaluate performance. There's a lot of cool features. So we're going to use one of them here. And this is a website called ORC Sailor Services. It's free to get in here. There's a free login. And what I'm going to do is use this tool to find Callisti in the database. So I do a simple search. I get a variety of replies, but I know that this is a double-handed certificate that was issued this year on the looks like the 6th of May. So I'll click on this. And what I'm doing with that is grabbing all the rating information on the ORC's double-handed certificate for this boat, and I'm putting it into a folder. I'm going to go back and grab, do a similar thing for the other double-handed entry, Numa. Here, let's grab their certificate. They have a double-handed international certificate, which simply means that the boat has been fully measured. The other boat is only partially measured, but they're racing together in this course. And now, having clicked that box, I've taken both the information and put it into what's called a scratch sheet folder. Now, with these two boats, they're both double-handed. They're sailing in the same class. Their ratings are also reflected in the double-handed designation, which simply means that the system assumes they have a crew weight of 170 kilos, not a much higher crew weight associated with a full crewed boat. Now, what we want to do now is grab the scoring option that is used for scoring this race, which is an all-purpose time on time. And with that option clicked, we are now going to create a scratch sheet. So this scratch sheet will give us the tools to understand how much time the faster boat, which in this case is Numa, so 610 seconds per mile. The lower number means a faster boat, so meaning lower number of seconds a mile to go at the speed with the all-purpose model. The actual race is being scored time on time, so these are their actual ratings. Corrected time is simply an equation of the time on time rating for the boat times the elapsed time, and that equation equals the corrected time. So that's what we see reflected on the results sheets. But here we're going to run a scenario. We're going to try to figure out, can Callisti, with their rating, catch in corrected time Numa? What we need to do then is for these elapsed time figures in the column shown on the top, we'll just set up some scenarios. I will, let's see. Well, you know what? I'll leave it in the default here for now. But let's put in over here how many minutes. So in racing 5 days, and the number of minutes in 5 days is 7,500. So we type that in. The YB tracker gave them an estimated arrival time for Callisti of 5 days, 10 hours, and 52 minutes. So I did some math, and I got 8,160 minutes as that total. So now I have the corrected times in these two columns, one on an estimate of 5 days. Of course, that's already passed. So we're still waiting. Callisti is expected in here about another 10 hours from now. If I click that dot there, that normalizes these rating difference, these corrected time differences to the faster boat. So what this means here in red is that Callisti is owed in 5 days of racing, 7,500 minutes. They're owed 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 13 seconds. In the current estimated time, they're owed 3 hours, 54 minutes, and 10 seconds. Where we see them on the race course right now, and their estimated arrival is not for 10 hours. Therefore, it looks like Numa will win this class, having probably 6 hours of corrected time margin, unless Callisti gets really fast for some reason. I don't know that they're going to make up that margin with the time left and the distance left that they have, and at their current estimated speed. So I just thought I'd share that with you. It's kind of a clever tool. It gets more interesting, of course, when everybody's much closer in corrected time, and that way you can use this tool to do some scenarios and what ifs and so on. Again, it might be a little dorky, but that's what we do here in race analysis. Is we look at how the boats perform, get the feedback, and see how this works in corrected time. I think with that, I'm going to close today's show. And thank you all for tuning in. This has been an exceptional AEGEAN 600, this second edition. Everybody's really, really excited and tired and sometimes wet and salty as they get ashore. But tomorrow night is the award ceremony, and I think it'll be good for everyone. In my opinion, this race has certainly earned its place amongst the classic 600 races around the world as being an appropriate challenge for those that are interested in offshore sailing. So with that, I'll sign off. I'm Dobbs Davis from Seahorse Magazine, and thanks again for tuning in to us here in the AEGEAN 600 in 2022.